Superstar Ray Brem here, and I want to talk to you about a myth that's out there. It drives me nuts. And the myth is that business person doesn't need a book right now and they can build credibility without it. And in fact, a lot of the people I look up to in my, not a lot, but a few people in my world I look up to are like telling, they're my mentors. They're telling people, no, you don't need a book. Go do this first. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And let's get right to it and talk about it. This idea that I don't need a book right now and I can build credibility in a business without it. And some people think that, right? I don't need the book yet. There's other things more important. But let me show you something. And the first thing I want to show you is what I call the yellow pages effect. And if you recall, in the old days, you would get the if you ran into somebody at the supermarket or something, they gave you the card and said, "Hey, I can build your fence for you." You would go check in the yellow pages, and you would see if they actually had a business listed in the yellow pages. If they didn't, they weren't a legit business, right? That was the way that you found out if they were actually legit. So you're like, well, I'm probably not going to have them come over my house and dig a hole and put in a fence or whatever it is. The next phase of that was when we got websites out. So when websites became mainstream, you would go out and check a business and see if they actually had a website just to see if they were legit, because a lot of people running around and giving out business cards and they didn't even have websites. And you're like, well, how are you a real business? Now, I get it. People can create websites and look like real businesses and they're not. That's true. But the one way to prove they aren't a legit business is if they don't have a website or they've got this, you know, Joe at WordPress.com website, or their email is, AOL or something. It's like, what? Get a real business. So those are the ways we've used historically to determine if somebody's a legitimate business person. But when you're going into branding yourself and you're the entrepreneur and your name is part of the brand, it becomes even more important that you have a book out there. And I think we're already there, but if not, it's coming very soon where people will go out and check and see if you've got a book and to make sure you're a legitimate person to do business with, that they should hire you to do work. And what's funny is I see a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of my friends even, that don't have books, and they rate the people that they look up to, whether they have a book or not, and they're buying their books first, and they're learning about that person and they're connecting with them through this book, and that's called pre-framing. And basically somebody reads your book and then you can actually, they've actually feel like they already know you. Well, I can't tell you, I have high ticket consulting prices, and people are paying that without even speaking to me on the phone, which is like crazy. I thought that would never happen, but it's because they've read enough of my books. They're like, I feel like I know this guy. They call me, they talk like we're old pals. It's a way to get connection and pre-frame people so that they're more willing to work with you. But I think pretty soon it's going to be mandatory that you have a book so that you pass the yellow tape pages effect or test when people are looking at what you have to offer. If you look at the top thought leaders out there, Brendan Burchard, multiple books, Russell Brunson, multiple books, Mel Robbins, Amy Porterfield, they've all got books. You know why? And that's why they're on the top tier, because they've got books that's a lot of the times that's the first entry point into their business for a lot of people is through books. Russell Brunson, when he released Expert Secrets, he talks about how that was his second book, his business continued to grow exponentially. And he thinks it's one of the most powerful business tools out there because if you go look, he's got all kinds of book funnels running, and that book is kind of a low hanging fruit, a low risk way for people to give him a little money and check him out and see if they like him and get into his world and learn to trust him and see if what he's saying is good information. So that's one of the reasons we do that. If you want to be an expert, you need to have a book. A book is a modern day business card, and it may be one of the first things people check out about you. And here's the thing that gets people think, well, I need to get a lot of expertise first, then I'll write a book. And really, the book is what shows you have expertise and gives you expertise in your area of knowledge. So it's not the other way around. You don't have to wait till someone gives you permission when you hit some phantom number of level of expertise. A book also will build your list, audience, and network. I've found the best affiliate partners and business partners just by connecting with them through either writing the books or being in together working on books or sending them a book. Also, like I mentioned with Russell Brunson, sends clients through your value letter. So it's a low cost entry point to you, and it's automatic, right? So you don't have to get on the phone with anybody. They can read your book and determine whether they like you or not. And by the time they end up talking to you, you've got a much bigger head start on your relationship with that person. I'll give you another example, the author startup. This created instant credibility for me, and I really literally built my list my entire first year just through the book, through my opt-ins inside the book, and that was before I was ready to deliver anything else. It was just teaching people what I had learned about writing a book quickly, and then I turned it into a light masterclass. I had clients reaching out to me without ever talking to me, just saying, "Hey, can I pay you to help me?" So it's much more important than most people think. And one of the things that other people think is, well, I need to wait until the end of my life and write a book about, my whole life and my memoirs, or I need to wait until my course is finished or my business is well underway. And the truth is, you need a book to start being recognized as an expert you are right now. Your expertise doesn't do anyone any good if they don't know you have it. If a tree falls in the woods, does anyone hear it? No. You've got to show people, and you can massively expand your exposure by just having a book available on Amazon. And no matter where you are in your business here, just starting out, if you're a seasoned pro, list building is critical. And the book starts the clock on that now. So you could be developing your course for 8 months, but if you have a book out there, you're building a list to deliver that course to in 8 months instead of waiting 8 months and then saying, I need to build a list. You should always be building a list. And one of the very best ways to do that is have a book, because the people that are reading a book on your topic are high value leads. And the sooner you start making sales, the more momentum you create. So you could start selling a book, you could start selling a mini course, and you could be testing different pieces of your course on the backside of that book. So there's so many things that you should be doing and using a book to do, and you should be doing it right now. Now, here's the other thing. Writing a book is not that hard. I've got a 5-day free book challenge where I help people get the outline done. I've got a book draft boot camp. We try to get everybody's draft done within 26 days. But even if it takes a little longer than that, you could have something done and draw your line in the sand, start collecting leads, start building credibility with your book right away. Don't fall for the myth that you don't need it right now. You do need it right now, and it's not that hard to do. Hope that helped you. Talk